My name's Alan Fraser, and I moved here in 2020 during the start of COVID from Florida to the Palm Springs area. In 2015, at age 55, I contracted bacterial meningitis, which became sepsis. So I was dealing with meningitis and sepsis at the same time, which was a pretty life-threatening situation. Ended up in a coma for about 2 weeks in intensive care, and was fortunate enough to come through that experience with my life. However, my feet were amputated shortly thereafter due to gangrene, which was sort of collateral damage from having been on life support for that length of time fighting the infection that I had. My perspective just on disabilities and disabled persons in general, I think, has changed, having become one. And in general, I think I looked at people with disabilities more with a sympathetic eye than I do now being one. I might look at a disabled person and think to myself, oh my gosh, that must be really hard. I feel really sorry that that person has to live their life like that. Now, being 10 years into being disabled, I've kind of flipped, because I don't really want sympathy from people when I meet them. I want people to look at me and see a strong, able-bodied person that has a passion for life and is living a full life. And I have had people approach me as an amputee with that sympathetic, sorry look on their face, like, oh boy, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and that must be so hard. And I appreciate that, don't get me wrong, but I don't want that kind of sympathy. That's not really how I want somebody to introduce themselves to me. And so that's something that's very different. My whole perspective on disabilities and people that have disabilities is completely different now. Early on, I hadn't fully embraced who I was as an amputee, so it was hard for me to explain my story to somebody openly. To me, I felt like an invasion. And over time, I've embraced who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and I feel like amputees like me should be out there telling the story and making people more comfortable with it, making us just an ordinary thing, like something you see every day that you don't find awkward. So that's a skill I've had to learn, believe it or not, that you wouldn't ever think about.